This is the inbound secret.
My name is Bryce, and I'm your host for The Inbound Secret, where we're talking with top performers and health experts and sales badasses alike about their strategies to optimize their well-being and performance. Once again, this is The Inbound Secret, and let's get rocking and rolling.
This is the inbound. This is the inbound. This is the inbound. The inbound. This is the inbound secret.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Inbound Secret. I am your host, Bryce Vance, as always, and today we have got the one and only Jeff Cunningham coming at us. Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm a little laggy, but I'm doing all right.
We'll work through it. Those that watch this they'll see a little delay in video, just so you guys are aware. Those who listening are coming in clear. You still there, Jeff?
I feel like we gotta wait. I'm still there. No, I was trying to close a software program. I have a million things. Just like a true entrepreneur, you have a lot of windows open. I always forget to close them down while I'm working, you know?
Yep. I know that. So I'm going to let you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, but I want to read just a brief little piece from your bio, if that's okay. Everybody, Jeff here is an entrepreneur for high ticket coaches. He's a marketing consultant, but more importantly, he's a life coach that inspires through pain. So I want you to give like your warm introduction to everybody, and then tell us a little bit about like what got you started on this journey, what you do to inspire others, and kind of a little bit about you.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on, Bryce. I actually did look a little bit at your podcast. I love the title of it because it is true. It's all about impact. But yeah, I'm Jeff the Entrepreneur, or Jeff J. Cunningham, like I like to say, if you don't know me. My mission is to inspire others always. Basically, 4 years ago, my older brother, Jay, married a Playboy model. She left for a multimillionaire. I moved to Connecticut and we decided on like a napkin size, we wrote a dream to build a coffee shop music studio. Long story short, he died on drugs, fentanyl, and I felt like it was all my fault. And because I moved him up here, I used to teach behavioral middle school kids at the time, and one of the students committed suicide right after that. And I really, everybody always talks about like rock bottom in life. I remember when I was playing football, I was like, man, I don't have a story, right? Like I used to hear all these like Oprah stories. And sure enough, I found a video on YouTube by Grant Cardone on depression. And he basically said, if Oprah can do it, you can do it. And really inspired me. I got out of bed that day and I wrote down, I will build the biggest coffee shop music studio ever called Cunningham Joins. And I think the first guy I started following was Gary Vee. So just like he talked about building the jets, that's like the headstone to my success. Although if you go to CocoMoJs.com, you can actually buy a blend of coffee. That I was just on the Country Network, a coffee with Kaylee is her name, and that we have like a brand deal for coffee. So that's like the dream, and everybody can like taste a part of it. But during the midst of that dream, I realized that I wasn't the only one alone that went through everything. And through pain, you can find your purpose, and your test becomes your testimonial. All those things, and that's what I got really good at, helping people not hide from it.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because entrepreneurs most of the time, and that's the primary people that are listening to this, is self-employed entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and intrapreneurs. We all have one thing pretty in common that most people overlook. Yes, everything we do is to solve a problem. It's all pain driven, but more often than not, we're not inspired mostly by joy. We're usually inspired by some kind of tragedy, some kind of pain, or some kind of frustration. Because we're just at some point in all of our lives, we've been like, fuck this. There's got to be a better way to do this. Right. And it's one of those things it's one of those things that's not often talked about. Right. Because you see the glitz, you see the glamour, you hear all these stories from everybody from like Bradley and Garrett J. White to Gary Vaynerchuk and Uncle G. And you see the jets, you see the lifestyle, you see the freedom, you see the businesses. And it's always one of two stories, right? It's always my mess became my message, or this is what you can do. But they almost entirely skip over the fact that at some point they could have been just having like a gin and tonic on a Tuesday and they were like, fuck this, I'm tired of it. And then they go solve the thing.
Right.
So I like the fact that you started with, and first off, my condolences, man. I've lost a lot of people to similar situations in my life. It's rough. But I love the fact that you didn't take that and just dwell on it. You were just like, nah, we've got to find a better way to do this. We've got to make sure that nobody else goes through it. And that's inspiring.
Yeah. Well, no, I saw my dad. My mom died when I was 12, and I saw what it did to my dad, and it tanked him, and we almost lost the house to foreclosure and a lot of different stuff, and it really just really bad. And I decided that I wouldn't let that happen to me. And everything happens with the decision, you know. So as my current coach mentor guy, Andy Dates, is fair as a direction, right? And I think anytime you do something, it's scary. Like, it's scary being an entrepreneur, you know, leaving a job when you're a W-2 employee teaching at a middle school to then go all 1099 just to figure out how to learn, you know. It's not like right away. I mean, I was born to do it, but like, you know, it is scary.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite quotes is everything that you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear, right?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's so true.
And it really is. It's like we can sit here and come up with 10,000 reasons why you and me are just absolutely insane for deciding to live the life that we live. And we only need one to keep doing it, right?
What was the first job you had when you were like, F this, and you just decided like the job just didn't like? Because I had a few, and what I noticed with entrepreneurs, they always either got fired or got urged out, and like it's because they're meant to do their own thing and be the visionary.
So my first, I'll tell you straight off the bat, my first job ever, I had a fuck this is dumb moment.
Yeah.
And it's
a true entrepreneur. They have that feeling.
Yeah, like here's my thing. My biggest frustration with working for somebody is I hate having a fucking boss, because 9 out of 10 times they're trying to tell me to do a job they don't know how to fucking do, and I'm already doing the damn thing. Leave me alone. I don't need to be at your 8 o'clock rah meeting. Let me do my fucking job. Right.
Dude, this has been the one podcast besides Gary Vee who's struck the most F-bombs. Yeah. Is that how they all go? Or are you mad I was like 3 minutes late?
No, so I'm passionate, impact driven, and I curse a lot generally. And
I like that. I like it. It makes me laugh, actually.
Well, like, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
The kids would swear, and I'd laugh when the kids would swear. And like, you can't do that. I'm like,
here's what it is for me. Besides the fact that I'm white as hell in this video, I apologize, guys. I'm trying out new lighting, and apparently it made me albino.
This camera.
But for me, I'm a big fan of transparency, ethics, integrity, and morals in everything you do. And if I was to not curse on podcasts or on video or on interviews or on the radio or TV or whatever that I've done for press or that I bring people on, it wouldn't be authentic.
Right.
Because clients that know me, friends that know me, and family that know me know I curse. So if I don't do it for everybody else, then what the hell's the point, you know?
Right. I'm gonna go on a different social media here. People are distracting me here. Just kind of so what's the so where did you decide to like, one thing I always teach is to be, and this is what I do when I market. Anything I'm marketing or even when I'm coaching, I teach emotion, value, and a subtle call to action.
Yeah.
That is the connection, you know, right? You have some connection where you come from. And a lot of people don't want to be vulnerable and share whatever it is. They want to hide away from their alcoholic past or something like that. What they don't realize is, and this is kind of what you realize, the mess becomes the message. That mess that they're hiding away from, the fact that they're still alive and 6 feet above the ground, they can actually use that to
connect with a shit ton of people just like them.
Because then it's being authentic, right? And like the fact, like even you swearing, right? You're like being authentic. So another dude who swears like that, like the authentic, especially now and thing, back in like the 50s or whatever, you probably didn't have to be as authentic. You kind of play it, everything. But right now, where everything's live and right now immediate, like people know right away whether or not you're BSing them or on, you know?
Well, not only that, there's so much saturation in any marketplace, not just ours, that if you're not authentically yourself, one, your client can smell the bullshit a mile away, right? Like your audience knows. But two, there's so many more choices. In the 50s, if you wanted to buy a car, there were like 2 car dealers within 100 miles of you. You didn't really have a fucking choice. Yeah. Now I can buy a car on Amazon and the motherfucker will be delivered to my house.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's crazy. Tesla too.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that evolves. Now, with my journey is pretty straightforward. Like job one, I was like, fuck this, don't want a boss, got to figure something out, right? And I haven't had a W-2 job in since I was 18.
What do you do for work? What do you do for money? Is this it? Are you home wide the passionate few with a podcast?
So this is one of the things, but no, so I own a few companies, but my primary is funnel driven. We specialize in intent-based, affinity-backed, neuroscience enhanced, omnipresent ecosystems for lead generation, client acquisition, and sales scaling.
Wow, see that 5 times fast. Pretty good.
So to put it in really simple terms, whether you needed lead generation as like a B2B sales consultant, or you needed like your online presence to rock the fucking earth so that people could find you, or you were looking to build out software and systems and automate your company, that's right. What we do. We just do it in a very specific way that is all intent-based, and we use neuroscience to ensure its viability. So rather than XYZ marketing that's like, hey, I wrote this weird ad, let's see if it works. Right. We run it through neurolabs, neuroscientists, and actual focus groups before it goes live, so that we know the heat mapping, we know what's going to catch your attention, we know the tonality, we know the micro expressions, we know the viability of its response, we know if a platform likes it, we know how the algorithm will work on it.
Wow, that's awesome.
It just gives our clients a higher propensity for results.
Yeah. No, that sounds like it, dude. It sounds like something to like when at TV commercials, they used to sit them through all that stuff because they didn't know where it hit. So it's cool to have that same exact thing for that's awesome, dude. I'll have my my media team look you guys up then, because it sounds like you're doing something right.
Yeah, have them look us up. If you want to hop on a consult after this, I'm always happy to do so. The one thing, and I love the fact that you brought TV commercials up. It's the one thing that people don't seem to understand in today's world. Social media is still media. The same,
so basically TV, everybody has it in their hand. I know.
Yeah, it's the same rules adapted to a new game plan.
And to a better game plan. Like I used to have a media marketing agency like 3 years ago. It was one of my failed businesses. And I knew, like, even that emotion value sort of call to action, you look at Bounty paper towel, they had the puppy dog, that's the emotion, they had the face spillover, that's the value of the thing, and then they had the logo, that's the call to action, right? So if they're going to do it and not hit anybody, and we all know Bounty paper towel, then you can really go hit Bryce up and then get it way more targeted, way more highly, and make it happen. You know, I have a passion for making people other more money. I built out a pretty good team now, so now I hate when I see someone good, like what they do, because I always want to be like, give them referrals and leads. But that's just what I do. If someone, like, it's the entrepreneur in us, I think you just want to help and see people succeed, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. So every time you say something or I say something, we get a play off of it. And I like it. I like it. It's pretty rare that you just connect instantly, right? Yeah. And one of the things, my mantra, like the vision for the company, I've got it tattooed right here underneath my sleeve, is you're made to thrive, not just survive.
Oh, that's awesome. I like
and
that.
The whole purpose behind that is, yeah, it's impact driven. Yeah, it's impactful. Yeah, it's about the people. That's all fine and dandy. And that's really what it's about. But the terminology used in that was very specifically chosen. Too far, you see people get to a point where they're like, well, this is all I've got. And they don't think they can reach another level because they ran into an inconvenience or a plateau. And it just goes back to what we opened up with. Everything you've ever dreamed, ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Don't let a plateau stop you from doing something. Problems don't exist. It's just a challenge you haven't found the solution to yet, right? So find that solution.
The easiest way to find a solution is people who've done it, or people can kind of guide you. And I hate the whole title of being a life coach. Like, I'm really not a life coach. Like, I'm more like, if you don't make money because of me, you get your money back. Like, that's kind of what it is. You know, it's a money coach. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I want to make people money. That's it, man. I think money will help fix life. Yeah, they need mindset. Mindset's cool too. So I'm actually building something called Changing Lives Entourage. It's going to be a system for all these life coaches who don't get paid, and they're all going to have a community that they can go under. And then I'm going to connect them with, oh, you need mindset, you're this person. Because everybody's a consultant, everybody's a life coach today. And I get it. So Grant was the one who actually kind of, they didn't make fun of me, but said you have to build a team or just stop doing it. So I built a team. So I have a huge team. We're actually be offering, like, I think it's a $50K package of everything done for you of the team on our next event, our virtual event. But we also do stuff where we're going to do like just a community that people can go in and they can get all the tools for themselves and then do exactly what I'm doing, the systems and procedures, and just do it themselves. Because like I can only reach so many people, but if I can get more people to do exactly what I'm doing, then we can reach more. And that's kind of the purpose of this, you know, like I used to have the goal, and it still is, to make $77 million and then open up Kokomo J's. Now it's to inspire 77 million people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's totally switched. I've hit different level of success with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Doing that with Bradley's,
I've got to pedal back really quick and ask you a question that you asked me, right? And one of the questions that you started with was, when did you know you were an entrepreneur? What job did you have where that like light switch flicked and you were like, fuck this? When was that moment for you?
So it was actually literally when I was 12 years old, and I think I was like maybe 10 years old. And I got, I don't know what it was. I read books on building the best lemonade stand, and I had my brother and sister out advertising for me. And as soon as we were selling lemonade, I was looking at the money and I was thinking of what more could I buy. So I bought Smarties and I was trying to get ice cream to sell it there. That was the time I actually loved it, and I kind of knew it in and out. And then what happened was my mom died shortly after that, and really got all messed up because of that. And then I wound up being homeschooled and saw the girl that I really liked and wanted to be a pastor because her dad was a pastor. So then I just wanted her. I didn't really, like, I am a Jesus guy, but like I was just like, I'll become a pastor because then I get to date this gorgeous blonde girl named Angel. She's the only girl I asked to marry me still today. And then, yeah, dude, then I just got into teaching actually because someone said I couldn't become a teacher. And that's how it happened. I wound up having to work for different jobs to keep the house for my dad. And it wasn't until like the Grant Cardone video and I started doing it, I could never sit still. I was one of those guys on the beach. People always relax. I'd always have to be up doing something. That's an entrepreneur, man. If you have that and you always got to be doing something, then you're probably an entrepreneur, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's all about productivity, right? What kind of impact, what kind of change, what kind of movement, what kind of momentum can you do? And like you're a living example of that right now. I mean, we're on a podcast, and so far I've seen you on your phone, another computer, another social network.
I didn't know I had this, and so I'm hiring out a whole VA team. We're gonna have a team of like 50, and right now I just jumped to a call and I kind of said, figure it out. I got to do this thing, and it's good. And like she's new, she's hitting the phones because right now, because of Clubhouse, we're getting so many people call. So she's taking the phone and calling them. So that's the main thing. It's almost like, as an entrepreneur, sometimes you gotta pull yourself away and let people do it, and it's tough, man. You know, and I feel like it's my children that like I just want to make sure they're okay. You know.
So that opens up a really interesting point because most entrepreneurs have the same thing. I'm a little bit of a control freak. Relinquishing control is difficult. It's my fucking baby. My clients are who I care about. Relinquishing that control can be a little terrifying. In what you do, because you've evolved. You've gone from a lemonade stand at 12 to teacher to entrepreneur to quote unquote life coach to kind of a for lack of a better term, a syndicate leader that's doing coaching and evolution for monetary gain for their clients, as well as yourself, obviously. What would you say is kind of your biggest power, what you would recommend people listening and watching to this be able to do to do two things? One, adapt, and two, relinquish control to build their team without feeling like they're risking something.
So yeah, the big thing entrepreneurs do, you got to sell someone on the vision first. Okay. We're visionaries. Like there's the four, my current mentor, Myron Golden, there's the 4 levels of value. And the first one is implementation, right? And if you just do this in your business, you're just implementing everything you're doing, right? The second level after implementation is management. So now you're managing people. And even if you go at a job and you look at implementation, people get paid, 28K a year to stock shelves at Stop and Shop, right? They're implementing. Yeah. But when you become a manager, you can get paid 50K a year. And if you work at Boeing 747, you get paid 250 a year. Once you get to communication, you're communicating to people you need. You become a salesman, your own salesman. You start getting like 100K a year. And then if it's like Denzel Washington or some of these artists or rappers or whoever they communicate at a very high frequency and very well, they get paid millions of dollars for the thing because they're a high level. And then it's the next level. This is where entrepreneurs are at. It's imagination. So you imagine your business, right? And then this is where the monetary gain is, because you imagine, but you need mindset and money. And so money is to pay all your employees to implement what you're doing, but then you need the mindset to actually really be able to sell the imagination and the vision to them. And the best way I do it is I get everybody on a call. One thing I did with my team just recently is I made them all go out and print 2 things they were proud of in their life, 2 pictures, right? And one of something they did, and then I wanted one thing they want to do this year that they want to do. And then I said 3 years, I said 5 years, then 10 years. I want to know exactly where their vision is. Because once I know what Grant does this, once I know their vision is, then I can help them get there and I can sell them that. What they're doing with working with me, I can sell them on the vision. So like Ice, I know all of what she's doing, right? Or my team. So, and then what we do is we sit down and we reverse engineer the money it takes to get to that level. And I show them how they can do it with me. So I do this for my coaching clients, but I definitely do this for my team, because what that does, it has them buy into me more. So they think I really do care about them, but they feel it then, because you're actually selling the vision. They know I want to build a coffee shop. They know everything about me, but I want to know about them, because once I know about them and they're growth minded, then I can help them lead on. So that way I can actually let go of them, because then I know they're more, it's not just a job to them, right? It's a community, right? And that's kind of where it goes in. Today, this was her first day on the phone, so it's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm more nervous for her because I want to see her do well and not too bad. She's afraid to get laughed at and all that stuff. Yeah. You know? Angela, my phone girl, she's off today, so I was like, "You're gonna have to call. They're coming in. Just jump in and do it." And she's young, you know. So, and she just lost her dad just recently, so I really care for her, and I want to make sure she's in good shape. So that's really where I'm at now. But yeah, if you sell the vision, they'll work for you no matter what. The relinquishing control part, that part still is tough, because they're never going to do it like you want. You just got to accept it. You just got to say, It's not going to be, if I want to do it, I'll have to come in, but you got to let it go enough to leverage your time to do more stuff. And then eventually everybody gets better. You never did it the way you wanted it in the first place. You always got to remember, we're a legend in our own minds. We always think we did it great. I never made my first ClickFunnels the best, or whatever I did, right? They were actually all pretty bad. The guy's actually better than me. Still not in my mind. Like, you go to jeffsiphone.com, you'll see the funnel. It's nice. There's a few things that I would change to it, but it's good enough. I'm like, let's just run with it. Let's just go. That's how you get in the level. And then as I get more money, then I can actually fix up some of the stuff. So you got to really just know that it's not going to be how you would do it. And that's okay. It doesn't need to be. You just need people to buy into your vision, you know?
Well, it's one of those things that I expand on that a little bit. When we bring people on, whether it be sales agents or developers or partners or backends or JVs, whatever, we set it up so that the SOPs that are built out from a partner of mine does all of our operations. Anytime an SOP is built out, or a process or a procedure or systematic approach or a guide, when we hand it over, it's theirs. So it's our company's, but it's theirs to improve. Yeah. We want them to take ownership of it. Just because it's not the way that I would do it doesn't mean it's not a good way to do it. So if they see something that we've done that's the way I do it, or the way the company does it, and they find a way to improve it, to make it better, more efficient, more impactful, they have ownership to do that because they know they're vested in it.
That's great. So that's a great leader right there. And that's something that I say to Ice all the time. Hey, you're actually better at spelling than me. Make it your own. Let me know. And then she'll send it to me. I'm like, oh, that's a little too robotic. Don't send it that way. We need a little hey, and stuff like that. And she's very official, but it's cool, because that's huge. It's a lot of that's exactly, it's ownership. You got to do that. And you got to know where your employee's at, or where whoever you work with is at. My brother has a course for like 10K. That's my main specialty, is I help high ticket course people automate 6 figures, right? That's my specialty. If you really go into, or people who are about to make a course or a digital product, those are the people I really help the most. So my brother has this $10,000 course, Mastering Management. It's phenomenal. It has the hierarchy of human development. And you got to know where your employees are. Everybody falls in this. We all do. Insecure is on the bottom level, right? Then it's arrogant, right? then it's competent, confident, and then leader on the top. So when you look at all that, you figure out where your employees at, you know how to speak to them. And literally the biggest thing I've learned, and I used to be really arrogant, and I'm not proud of it at all. No pun intended. But yeah, arrogant is arrogant people will get results, and of hiring sales guys, but they'll live a whirlwind of danger. Like they can't think they do anything wrong. It's always right. So they're not coachable,
Yeah, they just burn really hot and fast.
Right. So right now I'm actually interviewing high ticket closers for my my business, and I actually found a kid who's really good. It's all about bridging the gap and seeing if he can solve the problem. You know what I mean? So he was really good. So I think we'll bring him on after February 6th. That's our big event.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we ran through the same kind of trouble where we were bringing in salespeople that would burn hot for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then fizzle out, or they just didn't align with the vision, right? Mm-hmm. We solved that in really kind of two fashions. One, we brought more sales in-house, so we were hiring less people outside. Two, I developed a sales system called Thrive Selling that really goes through every single aspect of proper sales. And I specify that because your job as a salesman is not to sell a product or service. Your job as a salesman, if you do it properly, is to offer a solution to somebody's pain and invite them to solve it. It's their decision to make that call, not yours.
Wow, dude, you put that perfectly, man. That's better than the straight line system from Jordan. So did you form that up into like a system or a course yet?
Yeah, so we built out the system. I'm actually filming the course for it here right now. I got like the first 5 videos of it done. But it's called Thrive Selling. I'll shoot you over some details about it. Share it with your people. That way they can take a look. But it's made the difference in our sales staff, myself included, and our contractors and our clientele of about a 20% average increase in close ratios when they start actually implementing that system. Because it brings in 3 different methodologies. It brings in the inbound methodology for how to have a proper conversation, to have a proper sales system. It brings in neuro-linguistic programming to the benefits of the client. Right. And it brings in AER statements, which is to acknowledge, empathize, and reassure with that client for their pain point. What are they there to solve, right? Right. You're not there to just sell something. If they're not a good fit, pass them on to somebody who is a good fit. But if you use those 3 contingently, you get to what we call the Thrive Selling System, a sales system that I developed. And I actually talk about it in, I think I've got a copy of the book down here somewhere.
Well, you wrote a book too?
Yeah, I've got another one coming, but it's my chapter in this. It's called Limitless Expansion Secrets. Everybody who's listening, you should be familiar with this. If you're not, go pick a copy up. They're a few bucks on Amazon right now. But chapter, I think 12 is my chapter, and I go through the entire Thrive Selling System in here. And we did that because we wanted to make sure that we changed the precedent of what sales is, right?
Right, yeah.
Because for a long time, hell, most of my life, most of your life probably, we've always heard, don't be a sleazy salesman. You don't want to come off as a salesman. You don't want to sell. Sales isn't bad. Okay, sales is what literally makes our economy work.
Okay. Grant taught me that. Grant made sales cool, actually. Grant, even though Grant comes off like he was the one who wanted to change the name of it originally. Yeah. So, like, that's why, like, I do Cardo and you daily. You know what I mean? My brother does closer school with Brad Lee, Yeah. So always training on it is really important, and it's really getting it done to the best level. Someone always says I'm too pitchy all the time. Like, even in here, I've talked about my events and stuff. They always say that, but, like, that's how I got where I'm at so far, is by promoting everything. Like, I'm going to build the biggest coffee shop ever, KokomoJ.com. Well, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing that most people get wrong. You can be pitchy without being sleazy.
Right.
Okay. It's just like money, right? Money is not a problem. You just have a bad relationship with it. Get a good relationship with it. You'll see the power that it can do. You can change a lot of lives with money. Right. Sales aren't bad. If I sell you something, what happens? Well, you pay me, which means that I get the monetary gain from it. So I get a benefit. I solved your pain, so you get a benefit. That money is now in velocity and circulating in the economy. So now the government gets their benefit for taxation. The city and state get their taxation benefits, and more money is now circulating because you decided to solve a problem. It's literally a win-win-win across the board. But people have this bad mentality in relationship with sales because we were conditioned to think so, because some jackass in 1967 sold a lemon and all of a sudden now that word's tainted. Sales isn't an issue. It's just been done wrong for too long and nobody knows how to fix it. That's where people like us come in, where we have to fix that mentality. It's why I built Thrive Selling. It's why you became a coach, to make a bigger impact.
Right. Yeah, no, it really is. We do kind of, I mean, success leaves the same clues. You do everything. Like even on the Make More Money podcast, when I have everybody in, I always ask them that question. And I had Elena Cardona on, and she was always just like, I don't know. It's funny because they don't even see it that way. Once you're so far into it, they just see us as just helping people. And like 100%. I mean, here, one thing I learned: if people don't pay, they don't pay attention. Like I'll coach and I tell anybody, if you want like free marketing secrets or anything, just have me on your podcast, ask me whatever you want, or create a podcast. You can get it all. You don't have to pay a whole premium. Like that's the quickest hacked way to do it, hour time with somebody like that. But a lot of people, when they pay for it, this is living proof. They're like, the other guy who paid my first high ticket client, he has a funding course, which helps people fund with credit cards, basically freeze lines and do the whole deal. And it's all intricate and connections in it. It's a 10 grand course. I was able to coach him. He's able to make money with it. But like literally, this course has been able to change people's lives and then be able to do real estate in it. But one part of it isn't. It has like a sales process into it that you have to do, right? Like everything has it in it,
Well, it goes back to that whole skin in the game thing. Most coaches don't charge money because they need the money. They charge money because they need to know that their client is committed to getting the result that they can help them get.
I need the money, man. I didn't pay any of my taxes in 2019 and I had to itemize them all. That's the thing. So right now, for a while, you're going to see me working. I'll be coaching. I'll do whatever it takes to kind of catch up with everything.
100%. I'm not saying that there isn't a monetary need for everybody. Everybody needs to eat, right? But what I'm saying is when somebody's buying a $20,000 mastermind, it doesn't cost $20,000 to fly your ass out to wherever I'm having the mastermind and teach you for 6 days, even if we bought $1 million resort. The reason that ticket's there is because it covers the cost. It gives us a profit margin and it guarantees that you will be dedicated to getting the result because you just invested a lot in yourself and you want to see that result.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think a lot of it too is just, it's the people you're around. Like you're around world changers, like the people you can be around. That's what I love about Clubhouse. Like you can be around those people in a second. It's a networking event right in there. It gives me so much energy right from it. Like, I think that's a big, huge world changer right now. Like that's what made me, working with John Lee and Myron Golden now, where my next webinar and everything that I've been doing on there, everybody's just like, no, Jeff, you're ready for the next level. And it's funny, before you believe in yourself, sometimes people have to believe in you, right? Which I've always had very confidence in what I do, but like, I didn't know like enough of where it was at. I always felt like I'd hit X, Y, and Z successes. Like I always felt like I needed like the car or something like that. But it really doesn't. If you really care about someone, you know how to solve their problem, right? Then that's all that matters. If you're producing results for people, then that's really where the real success is, Yeah,
I mean that's the truest marker of success, because you can see all these rented Lambos and all these fake provisions that are out there all day long if you want. But what it really comes down to is some of the most impactful people in the world don't care about it. You don't see Warren Buffett driving around in a Lamborghini. He drives like a 95 Cadillac.
He doesn't. They were just talking about this on Clubhouse. Hustler and all these guys were talking about how they're like, are we doing our influence wrong? So it was cool to have all these influencers on it. And then they were like defending why they put their Lambos and it's real and it's fake. And all. It was actually really interesting to hear back from their like their whole thing. Me, dude, if you look at my Instagram on Jeff the Entrepreneur, you can see the girl who I asked to marry me all the way down at the bottom, who didn't marry me, all the way up till today, of everything I just do, live videos, just doing everything, just documenting the journey. Like even me working, stretching with this whole thing that I'm doing right now, like I put it all out there, Well,
you should be. There's power in transparency. People are worried about being vulnerable, but what was one of the first things that we said on today's show? Your mess is your message. Just accept it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's 100% true. And I think more people, especially Instagram, people want to look pretty. They see all these pictures and stuff. And I used to be a photographer, so I know how to take pretty good pictures, but like, and I know I got to clean it up. I know it looks a little messy, but like, it's gotten me this far, and people trust me, and eventually I'll probably fix it up and stuff. But I don't know. I think all those celebrity giveaways and the way they do all that stuff is just, I think that's a waste of money personally,
Yeah, it really kind of depends. I mean, there's something to be said about having professional video, professional audio, professional photography, but it's a time and place thing, man. Like people,
right? Like when I'm there, I'll be there. Like I'm actually mad that I don't have a better camera on this right now. That's why I had that one. But like I'll get there. Like I want to focus more on my business and then get there. I don't want to spend any money where I don't need it. Eventually, dude, the year that on my vision board is be in Dallas next November and have like a studio of it. So we'll see if I get there. But for right now, it makes no sense to waste money on a camera now. That's not going to build the longer dream, right? You got to make sure you're allocating your dollars where you are, you know?
Oh, 100%. Like right now, I'm a little teed that this light's making me white as hell unless I'm way back here. But so I'm, because it worked beautifully earlier today. I don't know what's going on with lighting right now, but I'll fix it up at some point. But it goes back to the point that I really want to touch on. I want your opinion on this because I'm a big fan of it. It's a Marshall Silver quote, fail forward fast. And it has to do with just executing, right? Like we all get stuck at some point, especially in the course creation world. A lot of course creators have this problem, analysis paralysis, where you want something to be so perfect that you just keep going back to it, working on it, never launching it. But your camera and my lighting is a primary example of this. Imperfect action is better than no action at all.
Yeah, done is better than perfect. I love that quote, you know? Peter McKinnon said it. That was the first time I heard it. But I think he has the tat on him. But top of that, one thing with all these course people that I coach and everything, I tell them don't make the course first, start selling it, make a page and start selling, make sure there's the demand of it before you create it, because there's nothing worse than having a course and then trying to sell something. And that way, when you're creating it, like this is why I hold webinars, all the webinars that I've hold on leads automation, all this stuff is going to be inside the course because now I've hold the audience on what they have, right? So it's just a really good way to do it, where you're just not like wasting a lot of your time, but you're actually seeing the audience. And then you can put X, Y, and Z. So if nobody buys it, you notice change up X, Y, and Z. And then all the leads and people you have, you can just pull over what they want. Because I think a lot of us think like, oh, we have this, it's going to be the greatest idea in our head. But like, you got to make sure there's a market demand for it. As entrepreneurs, and there's nothing better than a hot market. You know what I mean? Like if I created like a course right now or a system on top 10 ways to monetize at a clubhouse, which is the title for, whatchamacallit, our Wake Up Wealthy show tomorrow. Yeah. Like that would be it's a hot market right now. If nobody knows that's the latest thing right now, you know? So but you gotta make sure. And a good way to do,
it's funny you bring that up because we do coaching consulting for business owners all the time here. And one of the things that it blows my mind to this day that this is so common, but most entrepreneurs, most small business people, solopreneurs fall into this far more often than your traditional entrepreneur or business owner. What happened to market research? Why are all of you going out there just throwing products at the wall, hoping something sticks?
So sad.
For all of you listening that you may be guilty of this. And if you are, call yourself out on this. Do some fucking market research, okay? Because it may be the best thing since sliced bread in your brain, but if you're the only one that cares about it, you're not going to sell it.
Yeah. Dude, it's so true. I watched the lady and I love her. She built a Bolivian restaurant in this town here. And I told her, I was like, oh, did you research it? I went there for grand opening. There was nobody in it. It was the old Margaritaville. It was like this old house. And she goes, no, but we're the only one in Canton. I'm like, that might not be a good thing. Like I told her that, and they closed down, you know? And I felt bad because everybody talked to it closed. I tried everything I could do to save it. But at the end of the day, man, you know, I don't have that much influence. You know what I mean? Like you got to go, especially brick and mortar, man. You got to do some sort of research, man, before you just start taking out a mortgage on the house to do it. And so many, like, I think that whole thing of so many businesses fail is just because of that reason. And a part of it is the education in schools. We're not teaching people the right education. Actually, Dan Fleischman, you know who Dan Fleischman is? So he has a great course in the $100 Million Academy. That was another thing I wore. I'm going through it now. And he talks all the same steps. I wish I had this when I did my photography business. He has it that way. And I think so many people like that are entrepreneurs will do like a service that's like photography and have all their friends and everything. So they'll have some small wins and think it's okay. But when you're actually doing something that is actually, you know, really like you brick and mortar, especially, like you can always make a digital product and then not sell and it won't really hurt you because it's a digital product, you know? But
well, it depends. It depends because there's different levels to this shit. Like if you go all in on a digital product and you go full Tony Robbins style, like he spent $10 million on fucking video equipment. Okay.
Yeah, KBB course.
Yeah. Like if you go that big, right, you're going to be at a loss if nobody wants to buy that shit.
Right. Dude, it's true, man. So that's why it's good that people have me and people like you to actually consult and show them where it is. You know, I basically like to really focus on people who are course creators more right now. That's like my niche, just because they're the ones who actually have something. But I kind of vet them too to make sure their courses really will really change lives or really beneficial, because there's a lot of fakes out there. And then what I want to do is put the Jeff the Entrepreneur, since I have a pretty good name and I built it up, the stamp on it, it's approval. And then people bring their course to me. Yeah. So I approve them going forward after. So that's the whole vision. And I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well, hey man, we've got to wrap up, but I want to wrap up with 3 favors, as we call them. Favor 1 is the most impactful thing that you would recommend listeners do that they could do today to start garnering a better result. 2, just a quote. Whatever you want to put on there, your favorite book, your favorite vacation, your favorite new media, a recommendation to a platform like Clubhouse you've been talking about, something. And then 3, where can people find you if they want to get to know you, connect with you, hire you, look at some of the stuff you're doing, build a relationship?
Yeah, I think it's funny you did all 3 on me, and I was thinking, because us entrepreneurs I have a real estate meeting. I forgot I own a 4 unit. And I have a tenant coming at 4 o'clock, so I got to shoot over there. It's pretty far away, so I have to shoot up there. What was the first one? You want me to do rapid fire or?
Yeah, just rapid fire. I ran through all 3, but I'll give you a quick synopsis again. So number 1 is the most impactful thing that people can take action on today to garner a better result. Item 2 is your favorite quote of something, a book, a radio show, a podcast. And number 3 is where can people connect?
Good. All right. Yeah. The first thing someone can do right now to be the most impactful can do is literally they can start just looking at what they accomplished, write down the 5 things that they accomplished, right? Because if you're alive, you've accomplished 5 things. To be proud of something you accomplished, and then write 5 things more you want to accomplish, right? That's the first thing you can do. Write 5 things you've done, and then 5 things you want to do. Because so many people get stuck in the race. So get comfortable. We've all done more than stuff there. So just write down, take some pride in what you've done so far in this life. Okay. Don't think it's all a waste, because you've actually done some stuff that you don't realize that was actually training you for you are, which leads to the second quote is life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. Right. I think Tony Robbins said that. So then anything, as you're writing it down, you can't think of anything. And you think, well, it happened. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. Okay. My dad was an alcoholic. This happened for me. How can I find out how this happened for me? You know what I mean? Who else can I help that was in there? Because a lot of times people want to help the same person in the niche. Right. And then people can find me. The best way is either go jeffsiphone.com, which Grant made fun of me for calling him from my iPhone when I was out selling windows. He's like, that's horrible marketing. So I bought it, and I get records to sign up. So I'd love for people to sign up. We do a lot of free events there, which gives a lot of leads automation, real estate advice, whatever I can help people with. And I partner with a lot of people on that. Or you can just go to Jeff the Entrepreneur. If you DM me, my assistant will DM you back, get your phone number, and then set up a phone call, which is what you're seeing going on right now.
Right on. All right, Jeff, thanks for being on, man. I know you've got a jet. I've got a jet. Tuxedo here wants some food because it's his lunchtime.
That's the name of the cat. I was going to ask.
Yeah, his name's Tuxedo.
That's awesome. He's wearing a tux, man. That's a great name of a cat. Yeah. All right, dude. Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, shoot it out to me, and I'll shoot this up somewhere.
All right, bud. We'll get this rocking and rolling. Everybody listening, thank you for being on another episode of The Inbound Secret, and we will see you next time.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Bryce.
This is the Inbound Secret.
My name is Bryce, and I'm your host for The Inbound Secret, where we're talking with top performers and health experts and sales badasses alike about their strategies to optimize their well-being and performance. Once again, this is The Inbound Secret, and let's get rocking and rolling.
This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound.